So hey guys, recently I saw Spider-Man Far From Home, and I gotta say that it was seriously awesome. It was amazing, and yes, I know that's amazing Spider-Man pun, but you know, I don't really care at this point. Now, I know I say this in a lot of my movie reviews, but Spider-Man Far From Home may be my new favorite movie, or at least my new favorite Marvel movie. But you know, let's see how long that lasts. Because my last favorite movie was Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I actually also saw that recently. I rewatched it, and I didn't enjoy it as much as my first time, probably because I knew all the jokes, but yeah, it wasn't as fun. Still a good movie, but not the one we're talking about. I'm supposed to be talking about Spider-Man Far From Home. Anyways, though, before we get to the movie review, if you guys are new to the channel or haven't seen any of my movie reviews yet, which I gotta admit most of you probably have at this point, but we're still gonna go over this. First, I give you guys my non-spoiler review, so that you guys who haven't seen it can kind of get a feel if I liked it or not, or if it's the kind of movie for you. And after I run out of non-spoilery stuff to say, which happens pretty quickly, I move on to the spoilers, with an obvious spoiler warning in between, because let's face it, it'd be kind of weird for me to just jump into spoilers halfway through the video without telling you guys and ruining probably some really important part for you. Let's get into this review and talk about Spider-Man Far From Home. I apologize in advance if I call it Spider-Man Homecoming. So again, Spider-Man Far From Home was amazing. And yes, I know that was an amazing Spider-Man pun, but you know what? I don't really care at this point. Again, even the trailers for this movie gave me less doubts than many of the other Marvel movie trailers. Like, most of the time when I watch a Marvel movie trailer, I'm expecting the movie to be good, but the trailers don't give us enough anymore for me to, like, kind of feel like the movie's gonna be good. But Spider-Man Far From Home's trailers actually got me really excited for it. Okay, maybe not really excited for it, but at least I didn't have as many doubts as many of the other trailers. But one thing in these trailers I've gotta point out was a little mysterious. Pun intended. You see, in the Spider-Man Far From Home trailers, they introduced the newest character to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Mysterio. And no, he's not wearing a fishbowl for a head, because who uses fishbowls anymore, okay? Everyone uses fish tanks now. But back to the point I was trying to get. The weird thing about Mysterio, other than his fishbowl head, is they introduced Mysterio, typically a Spider-Man villain, who even worked with the Sinister Six, like Spider-Man's villain team that teams up to fight him, even though they don't ever win, as a hero to work with Spider-Man. And this really stirred up debate in the Marvel Cinematic Universe fan community? Is that what we call ourselves? I don't think we have a name. Whatever, I'm just gonna call them the fan community. Now, this stirred up a huge debate, because on the one hand, Mysterio could actually be the villain of this movie, but be pretending to be a hero, and, like, be a twist villain that's revealed, like, I don't know, maybe like halfway through the movie. And this actually kind of mirrors his first introduction in the comics, because in the comics originally, he frames Spider-Man by wearing his own Spider-Man suit and tries to make it look like Spider-Man did a robbery or something, then challenges Spider-Man to a fight and tries to sell himself as a superhero, and yeah, he obviously fails. Spider-Man shows that he framed him, and everyone realized Mysterio was the villain all along. But on the other hand, he could also genuinely be a hero, and this could be like a new take on the character. Because let's face it, Marvel's not going to do something so blatant and put a villain up on the screen and go, hey everybody, this guy's going to be your new hero, okay? He's definitely not a villain, because again, Marvel's not that stupid. That's way too easy. Many people think he's going to be the hero, and the twist is going to be you're going in thinking he's going to be the twist villain, and he is not. And which side do I take in this debate? I'm not really sure. Both ideas sound pretty cool. Now, I can't say anything about who's right, because I did see this movie. I'm going to get to the spoilers in a second, but all I am going to say is Mysterio is the greatest character in this movie. The one thing that did worry me about this movie was The fact that Nick Fury brings in Mysterio and Spider-Man to fight these elemental creatures, and no, this isn't Sandman, Molten Man, and Hydro Man. These are completely different characters that are apparently monsters called elementals that have some weird comic book origin that I've never heard of, so you're not going to get any help from me. The thing that personally bugged me about S.H.I.E.L.D's involvement going in was I was kind of worried that the movie would become a S.H.I.E.L.D. movie with Spider-Man in it, but nope. You don't have to worry about that. It's definitely a full-on Spider-Man movie featuring some S.H.I.E.L.D. characters and plot lines. So you don't have to worry about them overshadowing the main story. One final thing before I get to spoilers though too is, speaking of Spider-Man and S.H.I.E.L.D., another big debate that's going on, man, these things tie together really well, is Spider-Man gets 2 new suits in this movie. This red and black one, and this S.H.I.E.L.D. suit. And no, I've heard many people say this a lot, this isn't Spider-Man Noir, okay? It's just a black stealth S.H.I.E.L.D. suit. It may look like Spider-Man Noir, it may seem like a reference to Spider-Man Noir, but it isn't Spider-Man Noir, okay? He doesn't have a trench coat, he doesn't have a hat, he's not a detective, he doesn't talk in a low voice, he's not Nicolas Cage. But yeah, everyone's talking about which suits of these are better, and I've heard the majorities on the S.H.I.E.L.D. suit side, which I kind of don't get. I mean, sure, it looks cool, but I kind of think it's bland. It's just one color. Personally, I like the red and black one, even though it looks a lot like the red and blue one with black. I don't know, I just think it looks cooler, okay? Although the S.H.I.E.L.D. suit probably is a lot easier to cosplay as, because it's made with ski masks and stuff, whereas the red and black one is made with Stark Technologies nanobots, so yeah, that's gonna take a couple of years to create. But in all seriousness, no. On to my review. If you guys want to go see it, and you guys are huge Spider-Man fans, or huge Marvel fans, or you're just kind of interested, I'd recommend you go see it. However, there is one thing I gotta warn you about. Endgame spoilers. Obviously, this is after Endgame. If you don't want it ruined for you, and you haven't seen it, I'd suggest you go see it, or wait till it's out on DVD, and then go see Spider-Man Far From Home. But let's face it, if you're thinking about seeing this movie, you've probably already seen Avengers Endgame, or if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, you probably don't care at this point. But that's all I have to say. On to the spoiler section. Spoilers ahead. I can't believe that Mysterio was a hero the whole time, and Nick Fury was the villain, which, okay, it wasn't actually Nick Fury, it was another Spider-Man villain, Chameleon. Just kidding. Although that would have been really, really cool, and a really cool idea. But no. Nick Fury is a chameleon in this movie. Nick Fury's a Skrull. Spoilers ahead. And yeah, Nick Fury's a Skrull in this movie, but that's not the big thing. Apparently he was replaced by Talos, so we could have a vacation or something after Endgame, which, let's face it, we'd all want a vacation after that. But like, my question is, did the Skrulls find a new homeworld? And why are they coming back to pick up Nick Fury? I mean, isn't it like light years away? Like, wouldn't it take years for them to come back to Earth? Also, where are these anti-aging techniques coming from? Because Talos hasn't changed a bit, and neither has Captain Marvel, so I'm kind of detecting a pattern here. But anyways though, Nick Fury's a Skrull, not important, it's just at the end, kind of for a joke, not really, it's really more to confuse people. I mean, it confused me a lot. But the main thing I want to talk about is Mysterio. Wait, did he just dab? Mysterio is the greatest Marvel villain of all time. Okay, maybe not the greatest, but he was an amazing villain, and I loved it. Let me set the stage for you. Halfway through the movie, I'm sitting in the theater. They're defeating the last elemental, or so we think, the lava one. And they're all fighting him, and they finish the fight. And I'm thinking, wait a second, this is halfway through the movie. Huh? Who's the villain? I'm guessing it's Mysterio now at this point. It's kinda obvious. And I realized that, yeah, Mysterio was probably gonna be the villain. It was kind of obvious, but you know what? His reveal was amazing. He had holographic technology, the full Spider-Man. He got what he wanted through manipulation, but not really, because he actually didn't want the glasses and said it a lot, and it would have kind of ruined his plan if Spider-Man left with the AI glasses, but whatever, it worked perfectly. Mysterio also has a whole team of ex-Stark employees like himself that help him work with his illusions and his costume, apparently, because that's a thing. Now, originally when I realized Mysterio was creating all these illusions of elementals and stuff and make it look like he's a hero, I thought he was riding on an invisible drone that was covered by all his poof magic. But apparently, when he stages the fights, the whole thing is holographic and CGI, like he's not even in it, which is super smart, but it's probably terrible for the guy who has to edit this stuff, because someone has to animate this CGI, and the poor guy has to do a lot of work, probably. I don't know, maybe his whole team does the work, although I highly doubt it. Mysterio's plan is also really cool, although it feels very similar to Syndrome's plan in Incredibles. The first Incredibles. I'm surprised I have to say that in this age now. But just like Syndrome, he stages the fights and turns out being the hero and becoming the new Tony Stark everyone seems to be looking for in this movie. Guys, if you really want a new Tony Stark, you could just travel back in time, grab when he was alive, and bring him back, because that's how time travel works, right? That's not gonna end up in a paradox. But like, seriously though, Thanos died twice in the same movie, both from different timelines, so they should seriously be able to just bring past Tony Stark and bring him to the present. It shouldn't be that hard. Speaking of paradoxes, though, Mysterio's plan has a huge gaping hole in it, at least in my opinion. If Mysterio does become the hero, what's he gonna do? Like, what if a real villain shows up? Or like, even a real alien invasion? Because that happens a lot in these movies. Well, what's he gonna do? How is he gonna use illusions to solve this? Like, Syndrome in Incredibles had a point. He could be a hero. He made his own tech. He can like shoot lasers and stuff and freeze things with his antimatter point energy? I'm really close, but I don't think that's quite.
0 point energy.
But Mysterio has nothing. He's all illusions. And sure, I guess his drones or whatever can turn invisible and create holograms, maybe scare the aliens away. Or his drones could use like the bullets and the flamethrowers and the concussion blast stuff that they have to defeat aliens. But like, he's not gonna be actually in the battle? So like, if some villain tries to shoot at him, either someone has to edit really quickly him blocking the blast with his magic, or it's just gonna go right through him and everyone's gonna know that the one that's there is actually a hologram, and it's gonna kind of ruin the illusion and stuff.
Not a great plan.
I don't know, maybe when he's rich and famous, he'll be able to make his own tech that will give him real superpowers so he can actually fight in battle, but I don't think he's gonna put himself in danger to save people. If he didn't even care about saving people when they were illusions and they weren't real monsters. So I don't feel like he'll be a hero for very long. That's what I'm saying. But we'll never know if he'll ever be an effective hero, because he dies just like every other Marvel solo villain. And almost every other Marvel villain too, for that matter. But you know what? I'm okay with it, because he dies for a reason in this movie. And even in his death, he still haunts Spider-Man, because before Spider-Man comes to beat the pulp out of him, he records a message. And with the message paired with some out-of-place footage of the fight, he frames Spider-Man. But come on, really, Spider-Man? You put on the glasses and tell it to execute the protocol to stop killing people? I mean, earlier in the movie, you tell the AI in the glasses to erase a picture on someone's phone and it sends a nuke after them. You think telling it to execute any protocol will end up good? Like, even when I was watching that scene before the end credits came up, I thought it was kind of weird, okay? But yeah, that happens, Mysterio frames him, and guess who gets a hold of it? The Daily Bugle. J. Jonah Jameson is in the end credits in this movie. And also, the end credits are some of the saddest end credits I've ever seen in a Marvel movie. I've never seen an end credit steal joy like that ever so quickly. Now, originally when Mysterio died and I didn't see the end credit scene, I kind of thought for the next movie that the Daily Bugle would come in, see Mysterio's dead body, and be like, you know what, this was Spider-Man's fault, and try to sell everything as like Spider-Man did it, and then it probably put doubt in people's heads, but not completely, much like in the comics. But nope, Mysterio just flat out frames Spider-Man before he dies and also reveals his secret identity. And yep, Spider-Man better be far from home now. Although I'm not really sure if people will believe it or not, because on the one hand, sure, it makes sense with like the Peter Parker thing and him leaving. But on the other hand, certainly there gotta be some people that saw Spider-Man fighting the drones, and certainly Nick Fury or even Happy and Stark Industries should like plead on his behalf, because let's face it, Spider-Man's been a hero for a while, and I don't think everyone will turn against him that quickly. Although, I have no idea. That's how it's sold to us in this movie. And yeah, I don't know why they saved this sad news for the end credits. I guess they wanted everyone to have a happy ending who weren't gonna wait for the end credits, although I think everyone watches end credits now, right? Or at least they better. I'm looking at you, whoever you are, who doesn't watch the end credits. You gotta wait for the end credits, man. I don't care how much you have to go to the bathroom. I mean, I guess you could take a break during the credits, but the actually ending credits for this movie actually also look really cool. Not the black background and the white words, like the part before that where it's all animated and stuff. I thought that looked really cool. I noticed it. A lot of other movies have stuff like that, but don't look half as good as this one. But yeah, I really liked Spider-Man Far From Home, but I do have one more thing to say before I end this video. When Spider-Man Homecoming came out, I really liked that movie, but I heard a lot of people didn't, for a lot of different reasons, and I've seen a couple videos that talked about at least one of these problems I'm going to mention for this video. In Spider-Man Homecoming, one of the flaws is Peter does not experience any consequences for his actions whatsoever. He ditches his decathlon and decides not to go for the Stark internship, but then when he decides to come back, they immediately accept him. Then when the decathlon's starting, he leaves to go do his Spider-Man stuff, comes back hours later, and no one really gets mad at him? And then he also like skips school and stuff and leaves the homecoming and just, he does all these things and he just gets reprimanded like a little bit. Originally, Spider-Man had to deal with a lot of consequences. He was a superhero, but he was also a kid dealing with everyday problems. Having to go to school, having to do homework, having to get home at like the right time so he doesn't miss curfew. And when he got older, he had to pay rent, he had to help his Aunt May, he had to make money to stay alive. And on top of that, he has with great power comes great responsibility and stuff. And this made Spider-Man the character he was in the comics, and a character that everyone liked. Everyone could relate to him with his daily problems, with also being a superhero. I mean, everyone related to his daily problems, not the superhero part. And Spider-Man Far From Home fixes this problem really well. When he has to do his Spider-Man stuff, he's missing out on hanging out with his friends on vacation. And you know what? I like that aspect. Very sad for the main character, but it helps create drama, it helps create, I guess, a sense of realism, kind of. Anyways, though, that's all I have to say for Spider-Man Far From Home. I know I talked about Mysterio a lot in this video, but whatever, he's my favorite character in this movie. I think I've already said that right. Thank you all for watching this Spider-Man Far From Home review. If you enjoyed this review, or I guess if you enjoyed Spider-Man Far From Home, let me know in the comments down below, or even if you didn't, you can let me know why, because you probably have some good reasons. Anyways, though, thank you all for watching again, and I will see you in the next video.